Hello. Welcome back. Got another story from Robert Whiting's Japan, which you can find on robertwhiting.substack.com. This one was published June 10th, 2024, and its title is Players Not the Only Ones Susceptible to Influence of Sports Gambling. So let's get started. Tokyo, Japan. You probably don't know the name Tim Donaghy, but it might be useful to know it was in the wake of the Ippei Mizuhara and Shohei Ohtani sports gambling scandal. Donaghy was an NBA referee who had officiated 772 regular season games and 26 playoff games over 13 NBA seasons between 1994 and 2007 before he was caught participating in several game-fixing episodes related to gambling debts. An undercover FBI investigation revealed that Donaghy bet money on games that he had officiated during his last two seasons and that he'd made calls that affected the point spread in those games. Donaghy later admitted to betting on games that he refereed in the years 2003 to 2008. He pleaded guilty to two federal charges and spent nearly a year in federal prison camp in Pensacola, Florida, before being paroled. He was later sent back to prison for violating the terms of his release. Donaghy, a Villanova graduate and a sales and marketing major whose father had been a basketball referee for NCAA games, was a product of his times. In early 2000, the sports betting world underwent explosive growth, led by online sportsbook, often ensconced in countries with little or no regulatory oversight, like Costa Rica, Antigua, Jamaica, and Curacao. In July 2007, it was reported in the New York Post that Donaghy had placed tens of thousands of dollars in bets during his career and had been approached by low-level mobsters to cooperate in a gambling scheme. It was also reported that Donaghy had gotten himself into debt and tried to make it up by betting on games. It also came to light that Donaghy had disclosed classified information on players' physical conditions he had obtained due to the proximity to the NBA locker rooms. In phoning in bets, Donaghy spoke in predetermined code using, for example, quote, mom in place of the home team. Reports that Donaghy won an unprecedented 88% of his bets, a rate totally unheard of in the sports betting world. According to an exhaustive 2-year investigation by ESPN, reported by Scott Eden, Donaghy started betting on NBA games in 2003, and by the following year was making 30 to 40 wagers a season. His associates were making bets ranging anywhere from $500 at a time to as much as $30,000, $50,000, $100,000 per game. On occasion, it even rose to $1 million, with the potential to generate wins as high as $100 million. Money was usually delivered to big winners in stacks of $100 bills in $10,000 packets bound by thick rubber bands. So much cash was rolling in that Donaghy had trouble hiding it from his wife, who found huge wads of $100 bills in his official NBA jacket when she put it in the washing machine. Donaghy and his associates were betting on the point spread, over-unders in the betting parlance, not wins or losses. Donaghy would make his bets on convenience store burner phones while also receiving game fees of $2,000 each from gambling associates for his, quote, cooperation. This entailed calling fouls at the right time, whistling more infractions on teams he was betting against, and so on. In one game between the Charlotte Bobcats and Minnesota Timberwolves, for example, he called 14 fouls against the Bobcats and 5 against the Timberwolves. In another game, he called 2 fouls in less than a minute against the leading scorer for the Philadelphia 76ers, Andre Iguodala, who headed to the bench shortly thereafter. In still another, he called 11 consecutive fouls against Seattle, including the last foul of the game with only 23 seconds left to play. This helped increase the lead held by Seattle's opponent Dallas to 8 points, which was conveniently the spread on the pre-game betting line put out by the bookmaker. The next game in Dallas, he called 1 foul against the home team and 12 against the visitors, Seattle, including 6 straight during a late game stretch when Seattle held a 13-point lead. The pre-game point spread was listed at 12. In Toronto, he called 4 straight fouls on superstar of the visiting New Jersey Nets, forcing him to bench. After his arrest, Donaghy told authorities that Game 6 of the 2002 Western Conference Finals had been fixed by 2 other referees because the NBA had wanted the highly watched series to extend to 7 games to increase revenue. The Lakers won Game 6, attempting an amazing 18 more free throws than the Kings in the fourth quarter, and went on to win the NBA championship. But he did not provide any hard evidence to refute the league's denials. Now, Donaghy went to prison where he claimed he was attacked and threatened by mafia associates. He was released after serving 11 months and assigned to a recovery house where he underwent treatment for his gambling addiction. Fittingly, he went on to become a professional wrestling referee. He was arrested for aggravated assault in 2017 with a hammer at the occupants of a house where he believed his teenage daughter was doing drugs. He told the court that, quote, he was just trying to be a good dad. Will something similar happen in MLB? Will umpires start making calls to win bets placed between innings on their smartphone that Shohei Ohtani will be called out on strikes in his last at-bat of the game? The temptation is certainly there. As economist Vladimir Andreev of the University of Paris has written, quote, all economic analyses conclude that the more money there is inflowing to sport, the greater the sport corruption. Kind of makes sense. MLB is rolling in money, up to $1 billion from sports gambling, according to the American Gaming Association. In 2018, the U.S. Supreme Court declared sports gambling legal. It found the existing Professional and Amateur Sports Protection Act unconstitutional, limiting sports gambling to only one state, Nevada, leaving each state free to chart its own course for sports gambling. It's now legal in 38 states. It may only be a question of time before MLB arbiters follow in Donaghy's footsteps. Umpires don't make that much money, so the temptation is greater than it is for the higher salary players. The end. I hope you like this. If you can, like it, subscribe, but also check out Robert Whiting's Japan for more. He also has a new book out, and I was going to talk about that, but maybe I'll do it in the next episode. Anyways, have a good day and stay safe.